So with WrestleMania being this Sunday, the big question that we're going to ask you guys is, did this episode of Raw get you excited for WrestleMania 29? We are the British Fist, Mr. Parkin, and MJ. Here for this Raw review. You can subscribe to us down below. You can also like this video if you will. And please, please, please give us your thoughts on this edition of Raw down in that comment section below.
And if you haven't already, please make sure you contact us. Send the links in the description box below.
So like I said, WrestleMania go-home show. Before we get into anything though, let's take a look at some of the in-ring action and booking on tonight's edition of Raw. So generally with WrestleMania around the corner, WWE don't tend to give us a whole load of in-ring action. I guess they're doing this to try and keep the wrestlers fresh. They tape SmackDown on a Monday as well, get all that done so they can have a nice rest before the biggest show of the year. The first match we got on the card was Sheamus and Big Show versus 3MB, to which the faces get the victory here. No surprise.
A repeated match, a predictable win, and nothing really new to it.
Speaking of repeated matches, MJ, Daniel Bryan versus Ziggler. At least Ziggler got a win. He freaking needs wins, doesn't he?
Straight away, yes, you do expect a good match from these, but I was thinking Langston's not wrestled since NXT, I don't think.
Nope.
And Kane needs to be shown as the dominant monster, being a part of the tag team.
You know, internet nerds may prefer to see this match. I prefer to see Kane and Biggie Langston. Just saying. Wade Barrett versus Zack Ryder. This is a squash match that Barrett won.
And the spoiler of this is that we all thought that Ryder was going to beat Barrett, but no, Barrett won.
Mark Henry versus Santino. Santino's return came off well, didn't it? Guess what happened there? He squashed him. They tried to make it at least funny, though.
It was. He's like, wait a minute. Then just knocked him down and beat him.
Zeb Colter versus Del Rio. This is a deep future forward on a storyline. Chris Jericho and Antonio Cesaro, probably one of the better matches of the night, which Jericho won.
Go Cesaro!
The Funkadactors versus the Bellas, which the Bellas win in quite unconvincing fashion.
And they won more matches than Team Scholars.
Yay! So Team Hell No versus Ziggler and Langston. Yeah, this was a solid segment, I felt. I mean, you had Big E taking out Kane on the outside. They were trying to establish that Big E Langston is the difference maker. He decimates Daniel Bryan, and then he decimates Kane, even after Kane locks the chokeslam on him, and he just outstrips him because he's a monster.
Very true. Even though we didn't get the match of Langston and Kane, they did try and get these two doing some stuff throughout the match. Langston takes out Kane. Kane gets to the ring, takes them out both. Langston gets the best of them, showing Kane is the dominant one on their side and Langston's the dominant one on their side. So I think they teased this the best they could tonight.
And they posed with the tag titles. Pretty much all you can say.
And no briefcase.
No briefcase, no. Miz versus Barrett. You know, this is on the pre-show apparently. You know, you'd think, okay, I'm just saying, you would think one of them was a badass heel in a movie, the other one was a babyface in a movie, yet they're on the pre-show.
The big thing about this is that this has been a weekly built match. You know, they've had the Jericho, Miz and Barrett, then they've had Miz and Barrett continuing, building up to this, and we've got this Funkadactyls, Team Scholars, who've not had the best build compared to the IC Championship. They decided to put the IC Championship on the pre-show. I think the WWE have really messed this Mania matchup.
So much for making the IC title mean more, WWE. Fandango and Chris Jericho was hyped up tonight. I thought it was funny though that Fandango was judging Chris Jericho's moves by holding up the cards. I thought that was pretty good. We probably should have made some cards and put them up in the review, but we'll just put up these fake ones. By the way, this one says 4.
It could be very creative, but with this thing, I think they need it, especially like we're going to get to. Every WrestleMania match was done something on this Raw. With this match, I did feel like they're really making Fandango look like a big guy against Chris Jericho, interrupting the match, even though Jericho still got the win. It was a good segment of match.
Very well said, MJ. I'll give you an 8. Yeah? It's not bad, is it? 8 out of 10. Definitely better than 4 out of 10, which is probably what Bret Hart would have given it. Yeah, I felt the aftermath assault that Fandango put on Jericho makes him look pretty tough. So, and he gave him 2 leg drops as well. So I felt this was another solid segment, if yet underwhelming. Henry versus Ryback. They have this no touch policy. So Ryback uses Santino to make contact with Mark Henry after Henry's match. I found it quite good how when that segment finished, the Feed Me More chants were going pretty loudly in that live Raw crowd tonight in Washington, D.C.
This will go down pretty well. You had Mark Henry on mic saying how they much want to touch each other, but they're going to save it to WrestleMania. And it felt that they couldn't do much because of that don't touch each other thing. But again, the big stuff's going to happen at the WrestleMania.
This was quite creative what they did there actually with the no touch thing and using Santino. Del Rio and Swagger. You had those you had that vignette that Coulter and Swagger did in the Washington D.C. streets, even though it was clearly green screen or someone would have run them over. You had Del Rio talking about freedom of speech in that interview. Then you had their segment later on where Jack Swagger attacks Ricardo Del Rio while attacks Ricardo Rodriguez while Del Rio is in a match with Zeb Coulter, and they both beat down on Del Rio with the crutches. So again, this was another segment where the heel got some heat, I guess.
Because expected Zed to actually wrestle. That's probably going to be his only match, only time you see it happening. But this was to continue the storyline. The way they did it, taking out Ricardo so he does not get involved in the match. Del Rio getting beat down by the heels, making them look good going to WrestleMania. They accomplished this really well, even though I'm still waiting to see a beatdown on Zeb
Coulter, yes. I think this feud has been pretty well built, in my opinion. The Shield versus Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show. Is anyone else getting a little bit tired of Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show, or some combination of those two winning a match and then the Shield coming out? I'm just saying, I really think that at WrestleMania, WWE need to do something here to actually sort of forward this storyline and give it a little bit something new, because it just seems like same old hat every week now with the Shield.
My two things I want to say about this is that I was hoping for the last match or last Raw going into WrestleMania, the Shield would actually have the confidence to go in the ring and beat down the faces, giving the Shield the upper hand going to Mania. But what they did the whole teasing that there's something going to happen with the faces at WrestleMania. Someone's going to turn on, because they all went down the who can you trust, work together, yeah. So they're teasing a lot here. So even though they didn't get one over on the baby faces, they still teased something which made the mic work in this segment good.
They are casting doubt amongst the face team. Triple H and Brock Lesnar was our main event of the evening. And the big thing for this week was that Shawn Michaels was there. I'm surprised they didn't hype this up a little bit more. But there we go. That's WWE for you. They didn't hype Rock on SmackDown. Well, there you go. I expected a bigger pop for Shawn Michaels, if I'm honest. He didn't really get that much of a pop from the Washington, D.C. crowd.
Sadly, as time goes on, we've noticed that the crowd are not popping as good as they should do to different segments, different things, unless it involves, obviously, Cena and stuff. But with this, I think with Shawn Michaels being there, yes, he was there last year, supporting Triple H, questioning Triple H, but this time he was saying you've got to beat Brock Lesnar.
And that's pretty much what this segment was all about. You have Triple H coming out and Shawn Michaels saying he better kick his ass. And the big announcement will be that he's in his corner. They generally like to use Shawn Michaels in a capacity in Triple H's matches, but on the go-home show, if you're going to use Shawn Michaels, you think they want to use him to sell some pay-per-views. Can you have done this a couple of weeks ago and planned it in advance? I'm just saying, if you're going to use Shawn Michaels to sell a couple of pay-per-views, then you might as well try and milk the most out of it. We have Heyman and Lesnar coming out and basically Paul Heyman says Triple H is going to disappoint his dad, the board of directors, his wife, and his best friend Shawn Michaels. I must admit, I'm sort of looking forward to this match just because I know that it could probably be the only match on the card that is really like a brutal blood feud.
That's what I was going to say, because with Heyman with his great mic work, helping this segment, because obviously Brock Lesnar interrupted the Shawn Michaels and Triple H moment. Then they mentioned what's going to happen and stuff, and I feel that this match, the way it's been happening over the weeks, I can't really complain about it. They've been going the right direction. They've got stuff involved. So I think with this match, it's probably one of the top matches going into WrestleMania.
Yes, and then next we have the Rock and Cena feud, which it was the opener and it was the second-hour main event. With this being the main event of WrestleMania, are you very surprised that Rock wasn't in the main event of the show this week?
Well, it was during the show. I did say that Punk's got the main event, But obviously, with the whole going around that, even Shawn Michaels said that the main event's going to be Rock and Cena. But the WWE, for this point, which we're going to get to in the main part of this segment, CM Punk stole it, so I'm just questioning why they did that, but we'll find out probably towards Mania.
They had something big lined up for the end with CM Punk and Taker, which we'll talk about in the next segment. But for now, you had Cena opening the show. When John Cena comes out to cut a promo and he is getting boring chants from the crowd, you know something is wrong. I'm just saying. With both of these guys' segments, even The Rock, I tried to give this match a chance. I didn't hate on it. I tried to give it a chance. But as I was listening to these promos, it was same old hat. There's not really much different here, really, that has been made very obvious to me. I just didn't really care all that much about Cena's promo, or I didn't really care all that much about Rock's promo, despite them both being very, very good talkers. I can't, question that.
And for once, I'm going to say, because I do say that CM Punk's a bit repetitive, but for this week especially, it was John Cena and The Rock who were repetitive. We had John Cena saying that he's going to beat The Rock, he's going to go on and claim the championship, he's going to be the champion and all that, and he talks about the history and all that. Then Rock comes out and just says that he's going to beat John Cena. I've just felt the way this went down was just repetitive over the past few weeks.
Yeah, and apparently The Rock cares more about running for president than he does being in the main event of WrestleMania.
Support The Rock.
So no doubt the main talking point of the night was the segment involving CM Punk and Undertaker in the main event. Be interested to get your guys' thoughts on this one. I personally thought this was a very, very good way to end a very lackluster WrestleMania go-home show. You had CM Punk backstage before the segment saying he'll do whatever it takes to beat Undertaker, kind of hinting at getting Undertaker DQ'd. You have the main event segment where Undertaker comes out, cuts a promo on CM Punk. The droids come out. Turns out that Heyman is Paul Bearer, which was kind of like, oh my god. But I mean, the droids took a little bit of time. It was kind of a little bit of an awkward wait, but there we go. CM Punk was one of the droids, attacks Undertaker. I felt the way they did this was pretty good.
With Undertaker's promo, which was needed, there's a great banter waiting for Taker to speak, to talk about Punk. We got that. Paul Heyman dressing up as Paul Bearer. I thought that was going to be an earlier event when you had Taker his returning to Raw, but we got it now. It was a creative way to go. I thought that was pretty creative, but the thing is, like Dan said, when Taker came out to get Paul Bearer, to get Paul Heyman both dressed up, it went down the route that CM Punk had the urn we thought was empty for weeks, and he pours the dust which represents Paul Bearer onto Taker.
Indeed, this was this was definitely a memorable way to end Raw. You end Raw with CM Punk pouring, there won't be Paul Bearer's ashes of course, but sawdust or something to represent Paul Bearer's ashes onto Undertaker. Now throughout this segment, I was really listening to the crowd response. CM Punk, they've gone through all these levels to try and get CM Punk heel heat, and until he poured the ashes from the onto Undertaker, I noticed that CM Punk was getting a much, much better face reaction than Undertaker, but as soon as they did the whole despicable pouring the ashes on Undertaker, that got him heel heat. It shows you just how far, in my opinion, that WWE have to go to get CM Punk heel heat, because really, in my opinion, he might be better as a heel, but the crowd response suggests that he probably should be a babyface.
We do complain about what the WWE have to do to put a heel across. Like we've had Triple H do despicable things, we've had Vince McMahon, we've got Punk doing it, so we could complain about this, that they took this, well, why are you doing that? Because for the people that looked at this as a serious situation, go to WrestleMania, again, it gave CM Punk what he needed in the last show, so for that I'm going to look past the negativity this could have caused. And the fact is, yeah, Tay got beat down. I was thinking, where's Kane? You're involved with Paul Bearer, where were you to defend your brother and all that? But looking past that, very good work from both Taker in the ring and CM Punk and Heyman in the end.
Yeah, I do not have any complaints about this segment. They've really actually excited me now for this Undertaker CM Punk match, because I now want to see Undertaker get his revenge on CM Punk for the despicable things that he has done to that urn. And I imagine that this is going to be a really nice way to make Punk look very strong and very despicable during this feud, and it's going to allow Taker to win at WrestleMania, and then live the legend of Paul Bearer by getting back the urn and holding it up. That's what I think this is all leading to.
Because like we said in our video, we have no doubt that Taker's going to win this, and he is. But the last thing I want to say about Vince McMahon is on Twitter, and he's got a big announcement, not on SmackDown, because that's not a real show. He's going to be announcing something, probably via WWE.com.
Yeah, I look forward to that. This show overall was really lackluster. It really wasn't that entertaining. And for a WrestleMania go-home show, this really does, especially considering we weren't really that excited going into WrestleMania. Really, more on that on our preview show on Saturday. This is just a really lackluster Raw, which had a really good ending. That's the best way I can put it.
But what I'll add to what you just said is I agree, but I was probably more into Raw than you was. And the other thing is, Raw did cover every match that was lined up for WrestleMania. I just don't agree with the IC Championship. That's just me.
Yeah, which you would expect from a Raw go-home show. If you leave us your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below on this show, we will respond accordingly. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you have from me, Mr. Parkin, I'm going to hand you over now to the Right and Honourable NJ, who I'm about to give a 10 to for what he's just about to do.
Thank you very much, people. This is the WrestleMania go-home show. Forget about SmackDown's late point going on there. We'll see what we'll do for Friday for you. Hope you've enjoyed this show. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Please give your thoughts in the comment section below. And from Mr. Parkin and the NJ, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.
Oh, golly gosh, I'm looking forward to sipping my cup of French tea over those Funkadactyls getting dirty in that ring on WrestleMania on Sunday. It's going to be so spiffing.
It is the only reason we came back.
It is indeed, and to see those Bella twins coming back to the ring, I love to see a little bit of twin magic on my TV screen, don't you, NJ?
We're going to get so hot at this WrestleMania.
Oh yes, well enough of the talky talk. Let's go for walkie walk, eh? Let's go. Come on.
See you Sunday, people.